Hi, y'all. Welcome to Opinionated. I'm your host, Casey. The other Casey is not here tonight. Sorry about that. He is on a hot date with a guy named Gray, so we hope he enjoys that. And tonight we have a couple of special guests in our Meet the Speaker series for Faithless Forum. We have Prophet of Zod and Objectively Dan. How are you guys tonight?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Good. Before we start, I just want to let you all know tomorrow night on the Non Sequitur Show, we have Shannon Q and Russian Vids. So you are not going to want to miss that, right? Everybody's interested in that. That'll be a dumpster fire, I'm sure. So why don't we start with you guys introducing yourselves, and then we're going to play some 20 questions. So Zod, you want to start?
Sure. I am Prophet of Zod on YouTube, not in real life. I have a YouTube channel, I guess is what we're supposed to talk about, right? A YouTube channel where I talk mostly about fundamentalist Christianity. That's my big focus because that's what I came out of. And so I talk a lot about counter-apologetics. I do a lot of satire, including cartoons. And mostly I've found the niche I've settled into is just kind of breaking down fundamentalist Christianity and helping people who are questioning or coming out of the faith kind of confront it and come to terms with it. So.
Awesome. Dan?
Yeah, sure. I'm Objectively Dan. I am the host of a show called Truth Wanted. It is a call-in show hosted live Fridays at 7 Central every week. It is produced by the atheist community of Austin. So if you're familiar with Matt Dillahunty and some of those other guys from Atheist Experience and Eric and Jamie from Talk Heathen, I'm friends with those guys. We all make our stuff together there in the studio down in Austin. I do a similar thing to Zod. I talk about religion a lot, although I'm open to other kinds of topics. Like this last week, we got a conversation about crop circles. I'm open to all kinds of different kinds of woo, and I'm really interested in what people believe and why. That's kind of the model of the show. So my whole thing is I have callers that come in, they tell me about what they believe, and we kind of discuss those beliefs, or they ask me and a guest host every single week about what they believe, and we do some cool stuff there. This week, we're going to have Mimsy from Mimsy Vids on this Friday, which I'm really excited about. So if you want to check that out, yeah, definitely look into that.
Awesome. And this is both of your second year, right, at Faithless Forum. And
Yes.
Last year, Zod was a speaker, but this year is your first year as a speaker, right, Dan?
Yeah, I was doing a podcast with Anthony Magnabosco and Reed Nicewonder at the time. That was kind of my YouTube thing. So I was just there kind of helping Anthony out because he was a speaker, and just wanted to meet other people in the community and stuff. And I started Truth Wanted after that, and now I get to speak at the forum, which is really cool.
Do you guys know what you're talking about yet?
Nope. we have not been assigned anything yet, as far as I know. I'm guessing I will probably talk about street epistemology and probably talking to people in general, good ideas of how to talk to people about beliefs and stuff. I don't know what Zod's going to talk about. Probably something cool.
I don't know, and if I did, it'd be top secret. So.
Oh yeah, top secret stuff. Yeah. That's fair. It's funny. I had a guy that I work with the other day say that we were going to hold a meeting on secret Twitter because president. Anyway. So that was actually question one. Tell us who you are. So what made you get into content creation, and why do you do what you do? Do you want to start, Zod?
Sure. I got into it just kind of a little by accident. My brother had a channel called The Faith Check, which he did back like a generation before me. And so he kind of, once I came out as an atheist, he told me about it and showed me some of his videos. And slowly I started writing some scripts for him. And eventually he said, "Hey, I don't have time for this. I'm slowing you down. I want you to start your own channel." And so he kind of got me set up. So that's how I got into it. And then why I do it, I just think it's important because a lot of us don't have a way to make connections and share ideas with people who are like-minded and are in the process of coming out of the faith. And so I think it's really important for us to have channels that either directly confront people who are in religion or just help people process things as they come out. And I think it's very important that a lot of us have different voices that people can listen to and kind of find their way out of the faith, and also find people who can encourage them when maybe they're surrounded by other voices.
Mm.
I could not agree more. And I have to tell you, and I'm going to tell everybody else, and sorry, all the other content creators out there, but Prophet of Zod is my second favorite creator. So I love your stuff.
You.
And that has nothing to do with
the fact that
I'm in some of your, that has nothing to do with the fact that I'm in some of your content at all. I'm just saying it's all you.
And I have to say I have to say you have probably the best voice acting performance I've had on one of my videos yet. Everybody really liked that. It was good. So.
Oh, thank you. That was, I tried really hard. I tried not to let you down because your stuff is just so good. So that's awesome. So Dan, how did you, or what made you get into it, and why do you do it?
So I guess I'll start with how I got into Truth Wanted in particular. So before I started the show, I was actually call screening for the ACA for their shows for a while, along with Eric and Jamie from Talk Heathen. Before they actually started Talk Heathen, I was call screening with those guys. And I eventually pitched the idea to the show to Mark Vanderbrake. He's a producer for basically all the shows there. The summer of last year, I was like, I think we could do a show where we can kind of streamline the street epistemology process of talking to people about why they believe what they believe. And it started off actually with me bringing in a person every week and having one-on-one conversations with that person. And eventually I kind of figured, well, we have this call-in stuff here. Why don't we just use the call-in stuff? So we did that and kind of transformed it. And I thought about bringing in the guests every week to help me. And my whole thing was, well, the ACA is really known for AXP and now Talk Heathen and stuff. And very specific content creators who have a very specific style of speaking to people, in case you haven't ever seen their stuff before. And there are good things with that and, bad things with that. We don't want people to just assume that, oh, this is what all atheists are like. We want to have a diversity of opinions and diversity of views on. And I thought about starting the show as a way of showing, hey, here's another way you can talk to people. Here's another way you can kind of have these conversations, not to be in competition with anybody else, but just to show like, hey, there's more than one way we can go about this. And I wanted to employ street epistemology on kind of a more mainstream level and with a wider reach than what has been done in street epistemology before. Most street epistemology videos out there are with people on the street having these kinds of one-on-one conversations that can last up to a really long time. And so I was just kind of streamlining that a little bit and bringing more people in. And also I wanted to highlight the great content creators from like the YouTube community and stuff, which I think before Truth Wanted, the ACA was sorely lacking as far as having people featured through the studio and stuff. So it's been really fun, and I've enjoyed having the conversation since I started it.
Awesome. I'm glad you're having a good time. I really like your show too. I think it's pretty interesting, and some of the calls you get in are interesting.
Yeah, to say the least, right? But that's kind of part of the entertainment of it, honestly. Seeing all kinds of people believe in the most imaginative things that I could never come up with. It's really great.
Yeah. All right, so are you guys ready to get into the questions?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Dan, you start with this one. What skill would you like to master?
What skill would I like to master? Gosh, that's so interesting. I would love. Gosh, that's so good. What a great question. Why is this so hard for me? There's so many things I want to do. I guess I want to be able to like read 10 books a day. You know what I mean? I want to be able to like store information a lot better than what I can. I try to read as much as I can between my regular job and doing the show and things like that. I try to stay updated on other people's content and stuff, but it sometimes just feels like I don't have the time of day. So like, I guess being more efficient in my information processing or something, if that's a skill, maybe that'd be really cool.
Yeah. That would be useful to be able to read that fast and still store, like process and store all that that would be useful. Yeah. What about you, Zod?
If I could pick one thing off the cuff, I would say live public speaking. Just master speaking on my feet, being charismatic and engaging and stuff, I think that would be a really cool and useful skill to have. So
Definitely. I totally agree. It's hard. Live public
yeah,
speaking is
I
hard.
generally do better. I generally do better recorded than live, and so strengthening that would be something I'd really want to work on.
Awesome. That's good. Okay. What game or movie universe would you most like to live in? You want to start with that one, Zod?
Sure. What game or movie universe would I most like to live in?
Yeah.
I think I would live in Star Trek because there's lots of technology and you can explore and everybody's atheists.
I like that. I mean, I would.
Man.
I have.
It's kind of that utopian idealistic future that they dream of.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Dan?
Spock is what we'd start calling you then. I would. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I want to go to the Pokeverse, man. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. I gotta catch them all.
Funny. I did not expect you to say that.
I mean,
the funny thing is that's the first thing that came to my mind, just because my son was watching Pokemon with me today.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Hilarious. Okay. What is something that people would never guess about you, Dan?
So if you ever meet me in person, I'm a really big dude. I'm about 6'5". But I'm actually a very, I'm gonna say pretty decent violin player. I've been playing for 12 years now. And it's funny, I actually did some recordings. I wrote some pieces for, I was working with a Christian band for a little bit, and I recorded for a Christian album that never got released. So that was a thing. And I've been doing orchestra my whole life, that kind of stuff. So yeah, you wouldn't expect it because I'm just a gigantic monster man and I play like a little tiny instrument, but it's pretty fun.
You're like Bigfoot. Like I know that I'm very short, but you are like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
All right. What about you? Zod?
Within our circles, I think one thing most people would not guess about me is I had regularly played Jesus in church plays, whether it was Easter plays or, very unfortunately, Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames. I was kind of the Jesus go-to for a while.
Oh yeah. See, I would have guessed the God figure, like with the white beat. Like that's what I would have guessed.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think you could see it once
Jesus,
I tell you.
If he made it past the age of 30, right? Like older Jesus, laid back Jesus.
Yeah, this was about 10 or 15 years ago, so I think a lot less gray, and maybe it'll make sense. But
it's kind of like the aging Elvis, right? All the Elvis impersonators, like just the different ages.
Hopefully, I'm aging a little bit better than that.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so what is something that people do that they think makes them look cool, but you think is ridiculous? Zod?
What people do that they think makes them look cool, but makes them look ridiculous?
Yeah, that you think is ridiculous, but people do and they think it's cool.
I would say the first place my mind goes is overly fancy jeans, especially on males about my age.
Like the ones with like all of the like fake wear? Is that what you're talking about?
Any of that. The first place my mind goes is any kinds of jewels or studs or anything on the butt of the jeans.
Oh, do you see a lot of where you live in studded jeans?
Not a lot, but when I see it, it sticks out as like, whoa, that guy does not know his age or what looks good at all. And this is coming from me, who really does not have a strong sense of what people should and should not be wearing. But
well, I don't know. Almost every time I see you, you are in solid black with, a white noise face.
Yeah, it's handy if you don't know how to dress. Just give yourself a weird uniform and a static face.
But the first time I saw you in real life, you were wearing a Bob Ross shirt. And it was at that point that I was like, this is a really cool individual.
Yeah, Bob Ross shirts always helps. I'll have to bring that to Faithless Forum again, not disappoint everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have one now. I do.
I have two now, actually.
Oh, do you? Well, you probably shouldn't wear them both days. That might get a little weird.
No.
No, never weird.
No, I won't wear them both days.
Oh, okay. I was like, maybe you should go in for every day of the week. Okay, Dan, what's something people do that they think is cool that you think is ridiculous?
This is just really really hard. I'm one of those kind of people that I dislike something at first and then I grow to like it. Like I remember thinking when I was younger, like, oh, I don't really like girls with dyed hair, and I've been dating a girl for like 6 months now that has blue hair, and it's awesome.
Oh, I know,
But
it's adorable.
I don't. Yeah, it's really great. I'm just so open to a lot of things. It's hard for me to pick things. I will say I do think some people take when people upload stuff on Facebook or Instagram where they have some sort of really deep quote that they find off the internet somewhere, and it's just like, we've all seen this. Like, you're not special. Like, you're trying to make something out of this way more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't make that up. We know you didn't make that up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Okay. What is the best pet name you can think of? Dan?
I'm one of those people where I think pets shouldn't have like people names. I think they should just have like crazy made up names that don't make any sense. Like, I don't know, you like any made up word. Like, I don't like if it's something from like Pokemon or something. Like, I'm just using that as an example, but like I don't think it should be a name that people are currently using. So maybe like, I don't know, Zalgonthon or something, or
Like you don't want to come across a dog named Karen.
Yeah, no. I don't like that. I think if you're gonna have pets, they should be something else. You know what I mean? Like, there's already Karen people. We should have, I don't know,
Weird.
Jojonymous the dog or something weird.
You
Sorry
don't.
to everybody named Jojonymous out there. I'm not trying to say that your name is weird. I'm saying it is unusual for most people, right?
So is that actually a name, or did you just make that up?
I don't know. I just made that up. It could be somebody's name. We live in a big world, Zod. 7 billion people. I wouldn't be surprised.
But do you have a pet currently?
My parents have 2 pets, and they both break that rule. Actually, they both have people names. But it's one of those things. I didn't get to decide in that process. I wasn't elected for that council meeting, so.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like in your household you would have a pet that has a super weird name, but then it would have like a little nickname. Because saying the weird name every time would just be ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. My girlfriend has 2 pet rats, and their names are Walnut and Cashew, which I think are really great. Like, that's an example of a name I think is good.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you, Zod?
This is sad because I had a lot of time to think about it, but I can't really think of a favorite name for a pet. I think it depends. I've had a lot of pets. I had a lot of animals growing up, and I think it just depends on the type of animal and the character. So what would I pick as one favorite, though? I'm definitely not for overly human names, and I really don't know. Okay, I will say I guess if I had to come up with one, it's my current cat's name, which is Sven.
Sven?
Yeah, just because I think, that's what my daughter named the cat back when she was really little, and I just think it's a very funny name for an animal.
When I was little and my stepdad first became my stepdad, he had a cat. My mom does not do pets, but he wouldn't get rid of the cat. And so they kept the cat, but he had named the cat Grumpy because it was just always grumpy. So, okay, let's see what's next. What is the worst food you've ever eaten? Zod, you get to go first this time.
Worst food I've ever eaten. Let me think. Wow. I'm sure there's something out there that.
Alternatively, it could be like your least favorite food. Like the food you don't like, if you can't think of the worst.
I would say beets. I just really can't
Beets?
stand beets. Yes.
Really?
And so maybe the worst thing I've ever had, which because it just came as a really horrible surprise, was when I was younger. I was at a church gathering thing, and there was a chocolate cake, and I took a piece of it and started eating it, and I'm like, this is funny. And then all of a sudden I was really grossed out and it turned my stomach because it was made with beet juice instead of sugar.
Oh,
And
you know,
that was extremely nasty.
They actually have on the market beet sugar, but it tastes just like regular granulated sugar.
Yeah.
It's made from beets.
But there's something about beets that's like they're sweet, but there's some weird little thing that's off and it just turns my stomach.
Yeah. That's fair. What about you, Dan?
So I was thinking about this, and there's a few years ago when I was in college, and I had some Panda Express one day, and I remember thinking, "Oh, this like something was wrong. Like the noodles were really bad, or something was going on." And like a day or two later, I ended up getting pneumonia, and I'm like 90% sure it was because of those noodles. And I can't prove that at this point, but it was definitely not a great week for me. So that's
You
my choice.
cannot get pneumonia from noodles.
Says who? Who are you a doctor, Casey? I didn't realize that. What are your credentials in this area?
I stayed in a Holiday Inn Express last night, all right, you dick. I didn't.
I don't. Maybe I'm stupid and you can't. I guess so, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe someone sneezed in it.
Yeah, like if somebody sneezed in it, you could get it that way, right?
Yeah, but then it's still yeah. But then it still wouldn't be the noodles. It would be the noodles. Anyway.
It was a super pneumonia.
It was super pneumonia?
Noodle-monia. Yeah.
Noodle. Oh, for God's sake.
That'd be a good name for a pet.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Next question. Would you rather trade some intelligence for looks or some looks for intelligence?
Do I go first?
Yes. Well, whatever the opposite was. Yeah, Dan, you go first.
I gotta get. I don't know. In the atheist community, the respect comes from intelligence. I think. In order to get clout in that world, it's all about the smarts. So I guess I go with the smarts option there. I think I got enough good looks to sacrifice a thing or two there. So I think Zod would say the same thing. You know.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Zod?
Yeah, I would definitely trade looks for intelligence.
Yeah.
I mean, intelligence is just much more important, and I value being able to think. And if I could be smarter, then that would be really cool. So, unless I got so smart that I became depressed, but
yeah,
and I'm too old to worry about my looks anymore. So there you go.
Please. Everybody thinks you're super cute. What were we doing? That I think it might have been the after Faithless Forum stream in our hotel room, and there was somebody in the chat who just loved you. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I think he's made his way over to my comment section.
Oh, has he made his way over to you?
I think so, unless it's a different person.
He was very infatuated with you.
No, I'm not trying to put myself down. I'm just saying I'm too old to care one way or the other. So
you're like, whatever, I'm just done caring.
God, if this is you when you're not caring, I want to see you when you do care, because that's got to be amazing.
I know. His beard is perfectly like trimmed, and I know he always looks great. All right. You ready for the next one? This is one that we had last week too, but I really like the question, so I'm going to keep it. What is the best type of cheese? Zod?
This is hard because there's so many really good ones, but I would say typically a good sharp cheddar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I value variety so much it's hard to answer, but that's what I have to settle with.
Oh man, I am uncultured in the culture department. When it comes to the cheese, I'm not a cheese aficionado of any kind. I don't know what I like. Getting Swiss cheese. I like getting pepper jack. Just whatever's around, man. I don't know. I'm not one of those people. I'm not old enough yet to pair my wines with my cheeses and stuff. I think that might come with age.
I don't know. You have to ask
I've never
Kyle.
gotten into that either.
You have to ask Kyle at Faithless Forum because Kyle was a chef, or you may not know that. I don't know if you know that. Kyle was a chef. He was actually on a TV show, like one of those chef shows.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So he might
I'll
know a
give you
little
some
bit about
good
that.
cheese. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is also from last week, but these are the only two questions that are shared. All right. What song or music group do you love, even though it's super embarrassing? Zod. We'll start with Zod this time.
See, this is a problematic question for me because I know very little about music and have never been into it. Because all growing up, I was only allowed to listen to Christian music, and it was all horrifying. And so I'm very music inhibited. But
are you more into movies?
Yeah, more into movies and music.
Okay, so like, what is a movie that you really, really like that would kind of be embarrassing, like that other people might think it's terrible or whatever, but you love it?
I really love 2001: A Space Odyssey, and
Okay.
people generally have pretty strong feelings about that because it's a long movie with almost all dead air as far as voices and stuff go, and people just think it's weird, and I'm crazy for liking it, but for some reason I enjoy it.
Oh, I've never
just like
seen
Alaska,
that.
really. I could see that.
What's that?
It's just like Alaska. A lot of dead air, not a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a joke. But,
all right, Dan, what about
Zod
you?
lives
Let's
in
do.
Alaska, in case people didn't know. I don't know if you wanted to make that public, by the way. I'm sorry if I just ruined something.
Nice.
No, it's fine. It's come up many times. That's fine.
Okay, good. I would feel really bad if I just said something you didn't want me to say.
Now, if you read off my address or something, that'd be a different story. But
yeah. Well, okay. Well, let me go ahead and do that. It's a PO box. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so
I'm
movie or music?
Yeah, I am the biggest fan of Gorillas that I know of. I was really, really, really into them back on their Demon Day stuff and Plastic Beach, and I think that's okay more now because they've gotten a bit more mainstream with some of their newer hits and stuff. They've gotten back on the billboards and stuff, which is cool. But like, people who are into Gorillas are known for being they're generally known for being into like anime and some other kinds of stuff, that kind of subculture and stuff. So it's kind of embarrassing. At least it was embarrassing when I was younger. But man, when I saw them live, it's still to this day one of my favorite live shows I've ever been to. So yeah, I love me some Gorillas. They're great.
Awesome.
See, I know so little about music that I didn't know that was even a band. I thought you were talking about animals.
No, it's a thing.
I had no idea what that was until you told me about it.
We'll jam to some Gorillas later, man. We'll make it happen.
You're like me in pop culture. I'm terrible at pop culture. Terrible. It's really dreadful. But so last week I answered that Hanson. I love Hanson. And so this week I will give you another one. I love Hank Williams Jr. I hate country music, but I love Hank Williams Jr. Okay. Let's see. Where are we?
Honey, is that the Bocephus guy?
Yes, GE. That is Bocephus. Oh, and if you're wondering, Kyle's little cube over here that has GE and KC backwards like that with the bride and groom, he has it that way because he's marrying us next weekend. So he'll be here he'll be here next Friday. And if for those of you who don't know, we're going to do a special edition of Flat Earth Friday on Non Sequitur on Friday next week, not this week. So you don't want to miss that either. Okay, cheese, music. If you could breed any two animals together to create a new animal, what would you breed to create? Who went last time? I forget.
I went last time. So I guess
okay,
it's
then you
me.
go first. Yeah.
Two different animals together. Does it have to be real animals? Can we extend to the mythological?
I mean, I guess. Sure.
Okay.
I mean, you're breeding two animals together that can't breed, so you're creating an animal that can't exist. So, yeah, I guess.
Okay. Well, so I used to be a big fan of the Liger, strictly because of Napoleon Dynamite. So that would have been my first thing. But they actually do that. Like ligers are real. So I have to pick something that like isn't real, I guess. If there
Well,
was
you
like
could bring
a,
the lighter with something else.
that's true. And then you could make it like a quadruple. If you, oh man, okay, let's see. How about a liger with some sort of winged creature like a vulture or something? Or maybe a Pegasus. And that way we can incorporate, it's got like magic powers to it too. Let's do that. Pegasus and a liger.
A Pegasus and a liger. Oh,
I
Yeah.
just have to ask real quick. If you breed two ligers together, do they have twins and one's a tiger and one's a lion and it just sort of like demixes, you know?
There actually
Yes.
is a thing called
Breed it
I
out
think
another
it's a Tygon. Yeah, no, it's a
tiger.
different, it's a, yeah, that's a thing. That I didn't make that up. That's science. I don't know how it works, something with genetics, but it's a thing.
That's
Google
weird.
that shit. I'm serious, man.
all right. Zod.
All right. From the very beginning, I knew I had to do something with a shark. That was just a no-brainer in my mind. So I decided on an eagle shark.
An eagle shark. I
Because,
mean, a
yes,
flying shark.
That would just be like an
scary.
amazing. And they could
I've
form
seen-
Sharknadoes whenever they wanted to.
Do you hear John yelling from the other side? He said, "Fuck
I
that
couldn't hear what he was
Zod."
saying.
He said, "Fuck that Zod. I've seen Sharknado."
I thought they already had flying sharks in Alaska. I'm surprised, but
I don't think they have flying
No.
sharks in Alaska. What
thought
kind
that
of
was
place
one
do
of
you
them.
is? I'm just
I did catch a
wondering.
shark head when I was fishing once.
there you go.
You caught what?
If
A shark head. I was dip
Like
netting for salmon with a big net, and I pulled one in. There was a shark head sitting in it.
Just the head.
Mhm.
Oh, gross.
Just thought you might want to know that.
Hey, this is all about getting to know the speakers, right?
Yeah, well, he
So
talked
Zod's
about sharks in Alaska, so there you go.
There you go.
Okay, we're on question number 13. Would you rather go 30 days without your phone or the rest of your life without dessert? I don't know if you guys like dessert.
Oh, I can do.
Zod.
I guess Zod needs to go first though, or do I? Can I just? I'm just gonna say I'm already talking. I would say, I used to work at a Christian camp where we didn't have cell phone service out there anyway, and the only time you could do it was when you're on Wi-Fi. Like connect to your phone was when you're near Wi-Fi, and that was only when you're on break and stuff. So I'm used to the like not being on the phone stuff. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I definitely I could handle being 30 days without my phone for sure, as long as it didn't affect, doing my show and all this other stuff in my job, I guess.
All right. but do you use your phone for those things?
I mean, to schedule and for the show and to get communication with my work and stuff. So yeah, I do kind of
But you
use one, I guess.
it.
What? Well, if we're getting technical with this question, I could just use somebody else's phone, right? Because it's just saying my phone. So there we go. Haha, I
Cheat.
win.
Okay, so it's second, just like a tertiary question. What is your what's your favorite dessert?
Ooh, man. I don't. You know what? I don't discriminate when it comes to desserts. I love all desserts pretty equally, I'd say. I like tiramisu. Tiramisu is probably up there as far as like what to get at a restaurant.
Yeah. All right. Zod, 30 days without a phone or your entire life without dessert. And what's your favorite dessert?
Okay. I would say this is a very easy 30 days without my phone, because that's 30 days versus the rest of your life. Like, you can't give up dessert for the rest of your life. And I also agree that being without your phone is actually kind of cool. Like, I'm addicted to mine like everybody else is, but part of me hates that about myself and about everybody else and wishes they would all just go away. So I think forcing myself to be without it for 30 days might even be a good experience once I cut myself off and made myself do it.
Yeah.
Favorite dessert is hard because it always depends on what I'm in the mood for, but I would say creme brulee is one I really like and can almost always go for.
Fair. I don't know if you all know this about me. I make and sell cheesecakes as a side business. So cheesecake is kind of
You
my
do.
deal. I do. I usually do like special events, parties, birthdays, things like that, retirements, stuff like that. So, okay, let's see, where are we? Zod, do you have any superstitions?
I really don't think I do. But I have a funny superstition. Well, I have like fake superstitions, or maybe ones that I kind of hold to. But I have one that I always get sick around daylight savings time for some reason. And my wife always jokes with me about it because I think the hour on or off throws me off and I end up getting tired or sick. And part of me almost believes it because it seems to happen, but it's mostly a joke. So I think that's the closest thing I can think of.
It might be more to weather change. Of course, I don't know when weather changes, like as far as time of the year up there. But like trees are starting to bloom and stuff here, so it's like the pollen is starting to go up. I don't know.
Oh, there's definitely no pollen in the air in Alaska right now.
Oh, is it cold?
We're still having melting. It's like 40 degrees and everything's starting to melt, but so that feels warmish right now, but it's definitely not. Yeah, definitely no pollen in the air or anything.
Gotcha. What about you, Dan? Superstitions?
I think I'm the friend that likes to tell other people like how their relationships are going to work out, like whether people get married or whether they're going to break up and stuff like that. And like, I think, I obviously don't have any future powers. I think that's just picking up on signs of people's relationships and stuff. But I used to joke with people and be like, yeah, I can see your future. Like, I know exactly what's going to happen. And, you get a few right ones every once in a while, but I'm sure there's some that I've said that probably haven't worked out the way that I thought they were, but it doesn't come to mind.
Yeah.
So according to me, I'm just right all the time, really.
Well, so what do you think about me and GE? We good to go?
Oh,
should we just
for
go ahead and get
sure.
married?
You guys are in the bag. It's already set,
We hope, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What is something you'd recommend that everyone try at least once? Dan, it can be a food, it can be an activity, it can be anything. Just something you think everyone should try at least one time.
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. There's so many things that I always recommend to people to try. I'm that friend that's like, you need to try this, you need to do that. Um, I I'm a fan of, I don't get to do it as often as I like. I like to play board games sometimes, which is cool. I'm the friend that introduces people to like, have you ever played Munchkin before? Or I think it's called Suro. It's the game where you go on the paths and stuff. I like introducing people to those kinds of things because those are things people can bring out anywhere and share with their friends and stuff like that. I think that stuff's cool. I'm also the person that recommends YouTube channels to people all the time. So, there's that too. I always am like, hey, check out these people and this person. Oh, if you like this, try this, But
Yeah.
there's so many specific examples of that. I won't even bother.
All right. What about you, Zod?
I would say that everybody at least once in their life should try backpacking out into the woods where they're like, they're off the grid. They're cut off from everything and just living out of their backpack with whatever tent and stuff they have. That's probably partly an Alaskan answer, but I think it's a really unique perspective that gives you an experience and, it gives you a unique perspective and just kind of shows you at least a little bit what it's like to fend for yourself. And, you realize how quiet it is and how noisy everything is otherwise when you get out in the woods. So.
Yeah. See, I like hiking, but I hate camping. I don't want to stay overnight. Like I'll hike for a long time, but I do not want to, I want my bed. I'm not a sleep outside kind of person. Also don't want to go to the bathroom outside.
I'm getting to that stage of life. I used to run around out in the woods with a backpack and, pitch a tent and crap in the woods and all that stuff. But yeah, now I start to feel dirty and sore and my back hurts and stuff. So yeah, but everyone should do it at least once.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of Zod, since you were talking about that kind of stuff, What makes you feel old?
What makes me feel old? Well, my back and my knees are obvious answers. Or my kids being teenagers and one's about to become an adult. But one really weird thing that makes me feel old, just to make the question not mundane, is when, for example, okay, so there's Return of Jedi and then there's the prequels, right? To make this all nerdy.
Of course.
When I realized that more time has passed between the prequels and now, I think, than like the old movies and the prequels, that makes me feel really old.
Yeah. I think that's fair, although I don't really know Star Wars because I don't like it.
What?
I don't really know Star Wars because I don't like it.
Oh, that's fine.
That's the correct answer, by the way.
What's the correct answer? He said that's fine.
That's right.
I used to be really into them when I was younger, but now they're all right, but whatever.
All right, what about you, Dan?
I have I teach at a school right now, and I talk to kids every day, and they say things all the time that made me feel old. Like, I'm trying to think, they did something today, just like movies and stuff that they've never seen, like The Emperor's New Groove. They'd never seen that, and that made me sad. Or actually, a lot of them have seen Shrek, but just like stuff from my childhood that I don't know, that I really enjoyed. It's like, oh wow, I guess you weren't a kid when I was a kid, so you didn't get to enjoy that, and you're not going to look that up on Netflix because you don't care. So yeah, that sucks,
Right.
but it's out there. Go check it out.
Yeah, mine is when people use words I don't know what they mean. And a lot of them are like the combo words. Like, I don't understand that. I've always been kind of I really like language, and I really like it when people use actual words. And so when people use like slang terms, I have no fucking clue what they mean, like ever. And so that makes me feel old.
Well, kids do that
See,
on
I'm the
purpose. That doesn't
opposite.
really make me feel old.
I make
Really?
other people, especially
Like I was in
Shannon
my
Q.
20s as a teacher, and kids are already pulling it out on me. So that's just part of the world.
Oh yeah, I don't want to say bully. I pester Shannon Q and other YouTubers all the time with language and memes and things that they just don't know, and it's great. I love it. So
Well, like some like Dr. I don't know how to say your last name, in the chat said dead ass fam. I don't fucking know what
dead
that
ass.
means. Dead, like a person is no longer living. Ass.
Dead ass is like
Comma,
serious. Like
Oh.
seriously, fam. And fam is
Oh.
like your people you know. I'm so glad I get to
Oh.
teach you. But
I
you
know,
know,
I mean,
there's
I know
things
what
there's
fam
urban
is.
urban
I know
dictionary is
what
a thing.
fam is.
You know.
Dead ass is. Well, I know. Well, so like until if like I don't know, not very long ago, I thought that FTW meant fuck the world. Apparently, it means for the win.
It
You know.
used to. It used to kind of be both, and now it's kind of more. Anyway, it's an internet culture that's kind of changed over time, but it used to be
Oh.
kind of both.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mhm.
All right, let's move on. We're on 17, so we're getting there. What weird food combination do you love, Dan?
Man, that's a tough one. I'll eat anything, to be honest with you. I'm one of those people. So there's probably all kinds of combinations of foods that I've had that are weird, and I don't even think about it. Um, I'm the guy that likes to dunk everything in his like fries and stuff in his shakes. I guess people think that's weird. Maybe it's not that weird to people, but some people don't know that's a thing, and it's definitely a thing. So yeah, that's the weirdest
Yeah,
one I can think of off the top of my head. I also like all kinds of sushi and stuff. Some people are weirded out by that. I think sushi's great. There's not a sushi you can show me that I probably wouldn't like.
yeah, I don't like sushi, but I don't think it's weird. But the fry and like shake thing I learned about, I think, in college, and I had never heard about it until then. So that's kind of weird. What about you, Zod?
I like weird food in general more than weird combinations. But I think one Oh, shoot. I just lost it. I had one in my mind and I lost it. Oh, put a McChicken sandwich inside a double cheeseburger.
Ooh.
Like the whole.
It's actually really, yeah. Just open up the double cheeseburger so that the two patties are apart, and then stick the whole McChicken in it. It's super delicious.
Do you have to unhinge your jaw to eat it? Like,
No,
it
you just kind of
seems
mash
like-
it down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it works.
So,
And
like,
it sounds weird, but it's actually super good.
I feel like that needs a new name, like a type of sandwich name.
The Zod Burger. Easy.
There we go. Yeah, Zod Burger.
Brand that shit.
There we go. Zod Burger.
No,
We
it's
made it
gotta-
up here
it's,
today.
It's got to be the Mixzod. Because
Mixzod.
Zod. I like
You
that.
said it in it, so it should be a Mixzod. I got it. Okay. If you could rule your own island, what would the number one rule on your island be? Zod.
Kneel before Zod.
Of course you would say that. Dan.
I would have a gigantic golden plate on a giant monument stacked 100 feet high that just says the words "Don't be a dick, bro."
Don't be a dick, bro. So that's your number one rule, and probably your only
Just
rule. Don't be a dick.
bro. Yeah, don't
All
be a
right.
dick. That's it.
That's a good rule. I like that rule. Okay, number 19. If all jobs had the same hours, pay, and benefits, what would you choose to do? Dan?
Man, you know what? I would probably do a lot more activism stuff full time. I would love to, like, if I could speak outside of even the atheist community, if I could go to like Christian conferences or I don't know, Hindu conferences or somewhere like, and just those kinds of areas, I would love to do that kind of stuff. I like talking to all kinds of people.
Awesome. What about you, Zod?
Yeah, I would be somewhere along the same lines. I would either YouTube full time or else do some kind of writing or whatever. Because writing is one of the main things I like about YouTubing, is just putting ideas down on paper and expressing them to people. So I would go somewhere along one or both of those lines.
Yeah. I would be an event planner. All kinds of events. I would just be an event planner. I love doing it. It's really fun. And it just doesn't, a lot of times it does not pay a lot. So I do engineering. There you go. Okay, so last question. What are you most excited about at Faithless Forum? Zod?
Ooh.
I think it's just to meet people. That was one of the biggest kicks I got out of showing up to the first one, is seeing a lot of these people that I'd watched for a long time on YouTube, live and in person. It was really surreal, and there's going to be a lot more this time, so it's going to be really, really fun just getting to meet people and hang out and stuff like that.
Awesome. Dan?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. You know, like, it's such an honor to be on panel with people that I've respected and admired for such a long time. And just being there and hanging out and just as friends, just having a good time, and also just meeting all the people who are going to be coming and meeting these people for the first time probably, and seeing what they're really like in person. I promise you, most of these people are super great. All of these people are super great. Who am I kidding? Like, these are people I've become friends with over time, and being able to hang out with them in real life is just going to be such a blast. I'm so excited.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, just what was it? Was it not last weekend, the weekend before, I met up with your girlfriend and had coffee.
That's right.
You know,
And I
like,
heard it was a good time. So yeah.
Yeah, it was. And we actually, funny enough, we ran into, when we first got there, we ran into what is it? Free Thinkers of Northern Alabama, or something, like North Alabama Free Thinkers. And so we ran into a group, like an atheist group, in this coffee shop that we'd randomly chosen, that was having a Saturday morning coffee like meeting with the atheist group, which is really weird given that we live in Alabama. So
Yeah, it's quite a coincidence.
Yeah. But Faithless Forum is a super good time. If you haven't got your tickets, sorry, they're sold out. But you can, if you want to, you can always contact them on their social media on Facebook or Twitter, and get on a waiting list if you really want to go. In case somebody drops out and doesn't want to go, there's going to be all kinds of other content creators that aren't speakers that are just going as guests, which will be a whole lot of fun to meet all of them. So that's going to be awesome. So I'm really excited for you guys. Thanks for coming on Meet the Speakers. Dave, are you doing super chats? Were there any super chats? Dave? We lost Dave.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted. One from Kuyasa is, should do a concert with GE's ukulele and Dan's violin. Two big men with tiny instruments. Grin.
Yes. I love that. That'd be awesome.
That's funny. We'll have to do that at the next Faithless Forum, because unfortunately GE and I will not be able to be at this one, but we will be at next year's. So do you guys want to tell people where they can find you? Have anything else to add? Dan, you want to start?
Yeah. So if you want to see more of me, definitely don't go to my personal channel. You can go to it. I don't upload there as frequently, especially right now. Go to Truth Wanted. That's my big project right now. You can just go to YouTube and type Truth Wanted. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you want to get podcasts at, if you want to get the audio form of that. So definitely check that out. And I'm a big fan of being on Twitter and interacting with people there. I'm on Twitter at Objectively Dan. And there's a Facebook thing as well for Truth Wanted. If you want to contact me personally about the show and stuff, you can email me at truth@atheist-community.org. And that's really cool, talking to people on there as well. I personally read every email that comes into me, and I try to respond to each one. So definitely find me on there.
And when is Truth Wanted on?
Yes, that's a great point. So Truth Wanted is live every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time. We bring in guests every single week. I try to get in new people, and we usually go for about an hour and a half. This week it's going to be Mimsy from Mimsy Vids, who is an ex-Muslim who makes a lot of great content on YouTube. I'm super excited on having her on. And yeah, definitely go subscribe and check that out there if you haven't already.
Awesome. Zod, where can people find you, and what do you have coming up? Do you have anything interesting coming up?
I think it's interesting anyway. You can find me by typing Prophet Azad almost anywhere. I'm the only person who uses that name or anything like it, as far as I know. So look me up on YouTube. You'll find me on Twitter. I'm pretty active there. Facebook, not so much. But if you send me a message on Twitter or Facebook, I usually try to answer people, especially if they have any serious questions about advice or anything they're dealing with. I try to make that a priority. Upcoming, I have my videos always come out on Thursdays at 1:30 Eastern. So you can usually look for a premiere running around that time. This week, I have my next big Bible cartoon coming out, which I haven't done one of those in long enough. So it will be about the birth of Jesus. It was meant to be Christmas, but it's coming out in March instead, starring Tony Reed and Frankie from the Geek Room and a lot of your other favorite YouTubers. So that'll be a hopefully big, exciting event.
Yes, I'm not in this one, just saying.
Yeah. Oh, and soon you can look at prophetazad.com, and I'm working on an actual website, which if you go there now, you'll find I have a few t-shirts that I'm selling. I'm starting to do a little bit of that stuff. But the biggest thing is I'm trying to make an organized list of everything in my back library for people to watch without having to just do limited playlists or browse things chronologically. So you can check that out. I have a few things there, and I'll be adding more soon.
Wonderful.
Sweet.
That sounds great. Dave, you have anything?
No, other than to be sure to tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern for Shannon Q versus Russian Vids, which will be interesting.
Yes, Shannon Q and Russian Vids. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be great. So make sure to tune in tomorrow night, and we will see you then. Thanks for joining us on Opinionated.
See See ya.